And here's the thing. So is this the best compromise? So we know the UK's 4 nations have backed plans to allow some households mixing for a small number of days over Christmas. Boris Johnson is due to unveil, of course, later this afternoon, the tougher 3-tiered system for England to be introduced at the end of the current lockdown, which is December the 2nd. That's a week tomorrow, is that right? A week Wednesday, I think. So gyms, non-essential shops in all areas are expected to be allowed to reopen when the lockdown ends. Hurrah! Amazing that we're now grateful that businesses can carry on being businesses. Prime Minister Boris Johnson will explain the details of England's return to a 3-tier system, though, when the lockdown ends. And that could mean that more regions go into the Tier 3 system. Parts of the tier system, of course, will be tougher. The 10 o'clock closing time for pubs and restaurants will be relaxed, and we know about the gyms and the shops reopening as well. More areas, though, are set to be placed in those higher tiers, higher risk or very high risk after the lockdown, according to Number 10. Details of which tier every region of England, to begin with, will be put into. We won't get that information, we understand, until Thursday. But, and this is huge, this is game-changing, we have another vaccine. Right? I feel we should have a little jingle, vaccine jingle that we play. Sort of a oh happy days moment or something. So there'll be another one tomorrow. We wait for ages, don't we? And 3 come along once. The coronavirus vaccine developed by the University of Oxford is highly effective in stopping people developing COVID-19 symptoms. Interim data suggests 70% protection, but the researchers say the figure may be as high as 90% by tweaking the dose. Which one are you going for? You've got a German one, an American one, by British. You've got to go British, haven't you? Do you get a choice when you go down the vaccine centre? I'll have the British one, please. What's wrong with the German one? Oh, it's fine, but I'd rather have got an American one over here. No, I'll just stick with the by British, red tractor mark on the side, that kind of thing. So the interim data is looking encouraging. The results will be seen as a triumph. It comes after, as I mentioned, Pfizer and Moderna vaccines showed 95% protection. Would it be reasonable to say we're done here? Am I being premature? Coronavirus, we are done here. We've been through the mill. We've had, 8-9 months of hassle and jip, financial ruin, redundancy, mental health problems, decimation, not to mention, of course, the entire issue around education. Businesses that thought they could just claw it back after the first lockdown, that finally went by the wayside. And we're going to still get the knock-on effects of that. So we sit here today, the Prime Minister this afternoon, announcing end of lockdown 2, but more tier systems in place, tougher tier systems in perhaps more regions of the UK. Come on, we are done. We are finitoed. I don't think this government could now ever go back to having another lockdown. We've got one of the biggest testing programs on the planet. It's been, by all accounts, incredibly successful in Liverpool. I know there's some areas with it, but whatever system you put in place, nothing's going to be perfect in this crazy story. There'll be more of that going on. We've got 3 vaccines to look at as well. We understand the Pfizer vaccine, I think, will be in place by early December. They can start administering that vaccine. By anybody's measure, this thing is over, right? I don't want to be complacent. We are done here. 0344 499 1000. I have to believe this is it, right? This is it. The end is in sight. Post-Christmas, we could never. How much more do we have to have in the tank on this one? Mass testing program. Social distancing measures in place all over the show. Masks and you name it, what else? And 3 vaccines. 3. 0344 499 1000. But I might be getting excited that there's nothing to see here anymore. Mr. Johnson isn't going to be quite as positive as that. So, are you willing to give the government the benefit of the doubt and believe that this is the best compromise? Now, if you're in Tier 3, it's kind of reasonable to say that's not much of a compromise at all, right? Not a huge compromise. I mean, there will be differences if you're in Tier 3. For example, gyms can open, even if you're in Tier 3. But pubs will be shut for everything but takeaway, so that won't be any good. If you're in Tier 2, pubs can open and operate if serving a substantial meal, so we're back to that tier again. Is this the best compromise? So this is not perfect. This is what we know Boris Johnson is going to bring to the House of Commons later this afternoon. You will hear that statement live on Talk Radio when he does. It will be, I would imagine, widely supported by Sir Keir Starmer for the opposition. And all bar one or two disgruntled members of Parliament, rightly disgruntled members of Parliament, I would imagine that there's going to be a broad welcoming of Mr. Johnson's announcement. So for you, if you're a business that's still going to be affected by the Tier 3 problem, this will be no announcement at all. That will be almost just like returning to a lockdown again, apart from the gyms. Aside from that, and you can get a takeaway from the pub. But that's going to take you through Christmas, right? 0344 499 1000. So the government's answer will be simple. They'll say, look, we can't just say it's over. We know we've got the testing. We know we've got the vaccines, not one, not two, but 3 vaccines. At some point, we've got to bring that medical intelligence together and be able to administer that in a way that will take care of the most vulnerable, and we can work from there. So vaccines in place, testing in place. Mr. Johnson is not going to go gung-ho and simply say, we're out of it, done deal, finished. He's clearly going to reach this compromise. Is this the best compromise? I'm asking here. 0344 499 1000. So he's yet to speak, but we know in advance what Mr. Johnson is going to be telling us this afternoon. Lockdown finishes in England, but we return to Tier 3. One assumes in those areas that were already Tier 3, but there may be more areas. We won't get necessarily all of that detail later today, but we will have more of it this week. 0344 499 1000. Is this the best compromise? In my heart, I want to say, well, no, actually, I want to hear this thing finished. I want to hear the Prime Minister tell me and just have that absolute moment when, it's those moments, isn't it? When, you know, when Saddam Hussein was finally captured. Bear with me on this. And I don't know who, was it Rumsfeld, I think, who hit the podium and the press were waiting. And he looked around and he was aware of the might of the announcement. And I think he just, or was it Osama bin Laden? Maybe it was Osama bin Laden, one of the two. And he just went, we got him. There was that announcement. Remember that, Ricky? We got him. It was Osama, wasn't it? Bin Laden. Or was it Saddam? Anyway, regardless, I want Johnson to come to the dispatch box and say, it's gone. We've done it. Something like that. Now, I know he's the Prime Minister and it doesn't work like that, but I'm reading this situation now, and it was Saddam Hussein. Paul Bremner, he was the administrator in Iraq who made that statement. Ladies and gentlemen, we got him. That's what I want to hear from my Prime Minister about coronavirus. It's done. It's finished. It's over. It's got to be, right? 0344 499 1000. Peter says, no, not good enough. Lift all lockdown rules and laws now, immediately, he says. Yeah, I'm with Peter on that. I'm thinking, come on. I mean, even if you look at the current numbers of everything and all the mistakes and the correlations and the mysterious disappearing tweet from the Department of Health and the Mail investigation and the figures and I'm not buying into some conspiracy here, but there's clearly something to see. We know about the witty graphs and we know about the scenarios and we know, look, we're on top of this. We're on top of this now. And surely with a third vaccine sitting there ready to go, this has got to be it. 0344 499 1000. This thing is all but over, right? Is that too ambitious to think that? Do we have to think that? Is that the only way we're going to survive this madness, with that level of positivity? However, Johnson's not going to say that, but I'd certainly like your comments on it. What he is going to say is that I can do this. I can ease that, but Tier 3 is on its way and it might be coming to a neighbourhood near you. Is that the best compromise?